Good morning and welcome to Immigration Fridays. My name is Rumbidzai Vunzawabaya, and today I'm covering the topic of revisiting visitors' visas. The world has opened up again, and international travel post COVID is beginning to get back to how it was before COVID. We still have COVID with us, but we are learning to live with it. And as we learn to live with it, people have started traveling again and inviting family members, friends to visit the United Kingdom. So today I'm just going to cover just a few areas of just an overview of what the visitor's visa rules look like, the documentation that you need to make an application, for your application, what type of documentation you need, the application process, whether you can stay in the UK for more than 6 months, what you can do when your visitor's visa is refused, if you can appeal, judicial review, reapplication, and the services that we offer at Tulia. Now, we recognize that family relationships are so important, and living in the United Kingdom as a refugee, as a settled citizen, as a skilled worker and student, you still want to visit, you want to have your family over to visit, and it's easier for them to travel over and visit you than for you to go because of the demands of the jobs and other responsibilities that you will have here in the United Kingdom. So if you're looking to make a short-term stay in the UK, then the standard visitor visa is the visa that you will need. And this allows you to travel for short-term stays in the UK for up to 6 months. It can be issued for leisure, it can be issued for business, it can be issued for family visits, for weddings, graduation, for funerals. It can be used for absolutely almost anything, not for work and not for study, except short-term study. So the visitor visa can act as a short-term business visa, a tourist visa for holidays, an academic visit visa, and much more. So it's a very good visa to have. If you're coming to the UK for travel, tourism, leisure, short-term business, or even private medical treatment, then the standard visit visa will give you that permission to come to the UK to do so. So those are some of the things that the visitor's visa is for. So I'm just going to go into each category into a little bit more detail. So for leisure, if you are a non-EEA national who's looking for a holiday visa, the UK visas for international travelers can sometimes be confusing, but the standard visiting visa to the UK will cover you for 6 months for leisure. So I think this is for the people who have quite a lot of excess income, who can stay here for 6 months for leisure, or if you're visiting family who are sponsoring you. So whether it's a family visit, sightseeing, or general travel, you fall under that standard visa as a UK general visitor's visa or a tourist visa. Business, if you need to enter the UK for short-term business, such as a conference, event, business appointment, then the general visitor's visa again will allow you to come in. It can also allow you to come in for private medical treatment. So the United Kingdom has doctors who are specialists in so many different areas, and sometimes you may need to come and see a specialist in the United Kingdom. So you can come here for private medical treatment using the standard visitor's visa. Right, I hope we are still together. We're still together in that. If you're not sure about which visitor's visa, how to make that application, then definitely visit the UK border agency website, the Home Office website, to check, because that will clarify things for you. So this video is meant as a general guide and just to give general information. Specific legal advice, I will explain at the end of this video how you can get that. What documentation do you need to prove your eligibility for the visitor's visa? So what documentation do you need to prove your eligibility for the visitor's visa? Right, so what documents do you need? That's the big question. What documents do you need to prove your eligibility? Yeah, so it's important to know what documents you need for UK visitor's visa, right? To prove your eligibility for the UK visitor's visa, it's important for you to provide the Home Office with evidence of the general requirements for eligibility. So as part of your application, you'll need to prove your full intention to leave the UK. Your full intention to leave the UK at the end of your visit, and do not plan to stay for longer than 6 months. So your full intention to return, your full intention to leave the UK. So that is one of the biggest hurdles that people find that they find difficult to overcome. So it's showing your intention to leave. And how do you show that? You show that by showing your ties to your country of origin. What ties do you have there? Do you have ties in your property, your relationships, children, grandchildren, job, commitments at work, school? So you have to show your commitments and your ties to your country of origin. And this is quite subjective in terms of intention to return. How do you prove an intention? I've given some examples, but I believe this is one of the most difficult things to prove, especially from countries where there is turbulence or where there is uncertainty economically, where there's war, where there's anything that destabilizes a country. It's more difficult to prove your intention to return to such an environment. So, for example, if you are saying you're going to return to America, it's much easier to believe that. Americans don't even need a visit visa to come here. So if you are saying you're going to return to Zimbabwe, or if you're from Ukraine where there's war, if you're from Ethiopia, it's more difficult for the Home Office to believe that you will return because of the situation in your country. So the country that you're coming from is important, and that demonstrates as well. They look at the country of origin, the environment there. So that is one of the things which is fairly subjective rather than objective in terms of showing that intention to return. You have to show that you've got evidence of any activities that you intend to perform whilst in the UK, such as business, meetings, family visits. You have to show your evidence of any activities that you're going to do, what you intend to do when you're here. You can afford your inward and your outward journey, including flights and living here. So your financial circumstances in your country of origin are also very important. And I think that's another issue that affects people who are coming from countries where there isn't a stable, strong currency, where banks don't operate fully functionally, and people don't keep a record of their cash in evidential form. So you may have people who are asset rich but cash poor, and that's one of the obstacles that's quite difficult to overcome. And you have to show that you have access to sufficient funds in order to support and house yourself and any dependents throughout your stay without accessing public funds. So those are some of the key issues that arise, which you have to show proof of. And I believe that's one of the most difficult perhaps difficult areas to actually prove and show and to get your visa. You know, it's one thing knowing what you need to prove, but it's another thing understanding how to do so. The immigration rules are strict, and the Home Office refuses a lot of visas on the basis of a lack of supporting evidence. And at Tulia, we try to assist you to see what evidence you should show and what it proves. So it's not just a case of putting in lots of documents, but it's tying those documents to the rules and showing how they meet those requirements. With visitors' visas, I don't want to lie to you and say we can guarantee that you can get one. We can make your chances much better. We can improve the chances of getting a visitor's visa. However, it appears to be also a type of lottery and a very difficult visa to get. I think if out of all the visas, I would say the visitor's visa is perhaps one of the most difficult visas to get. So it's important to get all the documents, be transparent about your immigration record, your travel history, know the costs of how much you're going to spend when you come here. Do you have the money? What do you how are you accessing the money? How much has been set aside for your travel? What's the cost of your travel? What's the cost of your living arrangement? So there's a lot of evidence that you can provide, which helps you to prove your eligibility and support your case. The process takes up to 3 weeks. That's how long it takes from when you make that visitor's visa. If you're traveling to the UK for an urgent appointment that you cannot afford to miss, you might want to choose the Home Office Priority Service or the Super Priority Service. This ensures that your application is processed within 5 working days for priority and 24 hours for super priority. I'm aware that the priority and super priority services had been suspended because of the transfer of service of manpower to Ukraine, but that is to deal with the Ukraine crisis and to process visas there. However, that is, I think that they've been reintroduced in some places, but not across the board. So it's important to check for up-to-date information relating that. The services are an extra cost, but they're fantastic if you want to make sure that you get your decision very quickly. Now, can I stay in the UK longer than 6 months? Can I stay in the UK for longer than 6 months? Right. So that's the question that many people ask. As a general rule, all standard UK visitors visas are short-term visas. They're short-term visas. So they are for less than 6 months. So can I stay in the UK for more than 6 months? Yeah, that's the question that we have. So general speaking, immigration rules, they say that that's one of the intentions to return. So you're allowed to come for 6 months and then you must return. So the immigration rules prevent people from bypassing this by restricting the categories that you can switch into. So you can get a multiple entry visitor's visa, which is valid for 2 years, 5 years, and 10. What that means is you're allowed to come into the UK for up to 6 months, but not longer, but multiple times. So you don't have to keep applying for a visitor's visa. So you can enter multiple times on that longer term visitor's visa. Right. However, if you come to the UK on a visitor's visa and you would like to, you get sick or you're unable to travel back, for example, like during COVID pandemic, right in the midst of the pandemic, it wasn't easy for people to travel. And so they were given exceptional assurance and ability to stay longer. If you're sick and you're unable to travel back, You can also apply for leave outside of the immigration rules, which would allow you to stay longer. If you come to the United Kingdom for private medical treatment, you can extend your stay if you need to continue on with your treatment. If you're a person who has come to the United Kingdom on a visitor's visa but has fled persecution, or a situation has arisen in your country of origin, which means you cannot go back, like for example, you were visiting from a country where the war has broken out, you're able to then switch. With Ukraine, they have a bespoke set of rules for people from Ukraine, but for other countries, it will be like claiming asylum. So you could be able to claim asylum. Years and years ago, when I came to the UK, you could switch into a student visa, you could switch into even a work permit visa, but those rules changed. And now, if you want to switch into any of the other categories, you do have to return to your country of origin and make a fresh application. So whilst you're in the UK, if you then get offered a job as a skilled worker, as a carer, for example, or as a teacher, you would have to return to your country of origin and make a fresh application to come back in the category of a skilled worker. Similarly, if you want to come back in the category of a spouse, if you want to come back in the category of a student, you will have to go back and apply again. So that's very important to know. How much does it cost? So the costs have recently gone up. So from memory, because I hadn't actually just checked this, and I think this is a question that's come up, for a standard visitor's visa for 6 months, it's now £100. It was 95. I think it's gone up by £5 to 100. But that's something that I will confirm that. But I think please do check on the UK website, because it has just recently gone up. It has been £95. The 2-year visa about £300, 5-year visa 655, and the 10-year visa 822. Those figures may have changed in the last week or so, so it's important to just check on the UK VI website. However, it is still one of the cheapest options in applying for a visa, because it's a short-term visa and it's meant for somebody who's just coming to the UK and then returning. Right. Appealing. Wow. So if you're refused, that's a massive problem, because there are many refusals. There are a number of available options when it comes to a visitor visa refusal. So number one, reapply for a visa with a new application. Deal with the issues that they've raised in the refusal, provide more evidence, show how you meet those particular immigration rules. So a fresh application. So the advantage, it gives you the opportunity to correct reasons for error, for example, documents that have not been submitted. The disadvantage is that there's an additional cost of having to pay for the new application. Appeal on human rights grounds. So that's one that you can do. You can appeal on human rights grounds. It's not expensive, and it's not likely that you have to pay legal costs for the other party. But it's a long option, because it takes time to get listed for a hearing, and the judge will make a decision on the case. Judicial review, it can be expensive, and there's a risk of having to pay the other party's costs. The entire process can be very long. You cannot submit new evidence. Cost of the other party can be recovered if it's successful, and the other party may reverse their decision. So it's an expensive process for judicial review. So appeal rights were taken away, which would have given you appeal rights, but that was taken away. So the only way you can appeal is on human rights grounds, or resubmit. Keep resubmitting and resubmitting until you get a positive decision. Every immigration case is different, and it's important to get immigration advice, to get expert advice and support with the UK visitor visa. This is one of the areas of law that the applications that we do, because it helps us to promote family life. to help migrants even to integrate, to help with mental health. Having family here is so important and so vital. I've seen the value of it because it is very difficult to live apart from family members. So we encourage integration, good mental health for migrants who are living in the UK. And one of those ways is supporting people in their visitors' visas, applications, and appeals, providing the legal advice that they do. This is one of our chargeable. This is one of our services that is chargeable. So Tulia, formerly Migrant Family Support, is a community interest company that supports migrants living in the United Kingdom through legal advice and psychosocial support, through training, through support, through peer support groups and listening service. So we support migrants in their settling and integration. Tulia means to settle. So what a community interest company is an organization that does a combination of charitable work and trading. So our trading is through legal advice, through training as well. And so visitors' visas are some of the services that we provide. We also apply for sponsorship licenses, and we have an arm that does business immigration, which supports employers in applying for certificates of sponsorship and recruiting migrants from abroad to come and work in the UK, along with visitors' visas. So we have a wide range of services that we offer, which are trading, which enables us to do our charitable work. And so we have a combination of services which enables us to reach those who are most vulnerable, who are unable to access justice or to access legal advice. The type of work that we do is work that's referred to us by local authorities, by other charities, where we, in Coventry and the surrounding areas, we are limiting most of the referrals to the city that we live in and the surrounding areas to enable us to have to manage the demand for services. So we support victims of domestic violence with a combination of family law advice and immigration advice. We also support people who are in hospital, who have no status, people who have no recourse to public funds, people who may be waiting for status and are homeless. So those are the groups of people that we generally work with. And we do use our profit work to be able to support our non-profit work. So that's a summary of the work that we do. And if you need to get any advice in relation to visitors' visas or indeed any other area of immigration law, we are here to help you. We do full representation up to the upper tier tribunal, and we also just give general advice. We give advice and assistance in family law, but not full representation, because we, at the moment, we just give advice and assistance for family law and not full representation. We offer a lower cost option where we're able to guide you through the process, look at your documents, help you to draft documents, and support you through the family law procedure and any issues arising from there. So I hope that's been a useful whistle-stop tour of visitors' visas revisited, because I've done a video on this before, and this is a revisiting of them. If you have any questions, if there's indeed anything that you wish to ask, please do not hesitate to drop a comment in the chat. Please share this video. If you're watching it on replay or any other time, please share it. If you're on our website or YouTube channel, please visit our Instagram page, which shows some of the great work we're doing, and also visit our website to see our upcoming events and contact us via our website, which is www.tulia.org.uk. My name is Rumbit Zaifan Zawbaya, and I'm glad to share this information with you today. and look forward to seeing you again next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.